financing, but they still want to know that they're not overpaying for the purchase.
They want just a second opinion.
Yeah.
To make sure it's falling in the right box.
So those negotiations, so the first negotiation is the offer, right?
Offer.
So somebody sends you an
together
offer and you look at the offer and you're going to review it with the seller, but when you review it, you're going to go through all the terms of the contract. It's not just the purchase price.
Price and terms.
Yeah.
Terms can be as important, sometimes more than price.
Important, right?
More important than
So
price.
terms could be the close date, the amount of days for the inspection contingency, because
Loan
the buyer can walk away during that inspection contingency for any reason. They don't have to give us a reason.
Change their mind, basically,
Yeah.
Is how vague it is.
Yeah.
So for people like us, in the contract, there's a 15-day inspection period by default. Buyer's agent will probably try to leave it a little bit wide open or do 10 days.
Yeah.
People like us will try to tighten up the inspection period to 7 days, maybe 10, depending on a weekend or a holiday.
And depending on the market.
Yeah, but the key for us is the things that we cannot control, we need to get them done as quickly as possible.
Right, we want to know they're moving forward with this. So
They're
as soon as,
sincere.
when we're out of that inspection contingency period, we know we're going on to the next step. That's probably when they're gonna order that appraisal.
Yes.
Because they don't
after
wanna
the
pay for the appraisal
Before the inspection
Right.
period is over, in case
So-
there's something there.
in case, right? So we get through, we negotiate whatever, the seller's gonna fix the 2 outlets and we're gonna move forward.
Correct, yeah.
And so now the next thing is the appraisal, and that could come back at meets value, typically.
Yeah.
Or it can come back a little bit low.
Yeah. If it comes back low,
We negotiate again.
usually we negotiate again. The buyer can do one of probably about 3 things. They can cancel,
Yeah.
because they can fail based on loan commitment, so that's why we do it as quickly as possible. They can ask the seller to adjust the contract price from $500 to $497,
Right.
or they can negotiate, and we can negotiate something like, let's split it 50-50,
Right.
or whatever. The key is,
Or the buyer can bring that extra cash to the
or
table.
they can bring that extra cash to the table, which in the current market doesn't happen as often.
No, it doesn't.
It happened all day long 2 years ago.
Yeah,
But today, the market is different, and that's why you need someone that knows how to interpret what's happening today.
right, because if you don't price your home correctly, you may get that buyer, you may be at the top of the triangle, and somebody just loves your home, they love the location of it or whatever, but now the appraiser's gonna come in, and the things that are really important to that buyer may not reflect in value.
Correct,
So it now may underappraise.
correct. And the buyer may or may not have the ability or the desire to go forward.
And the seller may or may not have the ability to lower their price and move forward.
Yeah, so you gotta tell them everything up front.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so methodical
Yeah.
with what we do. And that's why.
I mean, I know I tell my sellers, like, we don't want to get to appraisal because you priced it high.
And we can see it all day long.
Right. And then now we have a problem. Now, now what?
Sometimes it can be close.
Close
but-
enough to work out something.
But we do not want to blatantly just know that it's never going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So we do that part. Closing wise, the title company that we work with is fantastic. They can close you anywhere. So. what
Mm-hmm. They
we
send
like
a
to
mobile
do-
notary
yeah.
for free to both the buyer and the
Yeah.
seller, which is
Yeah.
fabulous.
So it's very convenient.
Shout out Title Forward.
Title Forward takes care of all that for us. And the beauty of it is, for us, is that we usually pre-close the seller. So the way that works is the seller has the ability to sign a little bit early, 2 days, 1 day early.
Right.
At their convenience.
Yeah.
Because most sellers have like 20 sheets of paper that they sign.
quick, it's
15
easy.
minutes, 20 minutes. And
Yeah,
pretty
it's not
much
like a
done.
buyer that's financing and has the big stack.
Buyer might have 100 pages,
Yeah.
125 pages, so they don't sign people together typically anymore because of non-public information. So the seller might sign on Thursday afternoon, the buyer is scheduled to close on Friday.
Right.
So they can move on the weekend. So our sellers are working or at Carrabba's or at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And we will text them, the buyer's here, the buyer has signed, we're waiting on funding, and then an hour or 2 later, we have funded, which means your wire is on the way. Please call us or text
Yeah.
us when your wire hits, so we know you're good.
Yeah.
It never feels completed
Until they have their money.
until the wire hits.
Yeah.
Because they need it for whatever their transition.
Yeah, it might be going to the next title company for their new purchase.
Absolutely.
Or maybe they're gonna take a year-long cruise, I don't know, but,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And now, our listing fee.
I love our listing
What is our
fee.
listing fee? What does it cost to sell with us?
Yeah,
So our basic fee is 1.5%, and that is on the listing side,
right, which is amazing.
which is
And it's full service.
full service. We handle the photos, the 3D. We do everything everyone else does, plus, 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 plus.
Right,
And our level of experience adds to that, right?
yeah,
How can we do that? Efficiency. I mean, I've never been able to do as many deals as I do at Redfin because of the system that we use, the technology that we use is so efficient.
and our
that
back end support.
It allows us to work at a very high level.
Yeah, we have a listing coordinator, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the before we go under contract. Once we go under contract, it goes to our transaction coordinator, right? So they're handling, we're still very involved, but they are handling a lot of the
Tasking.
tasking.
And we're overseeing it.
Yeah,
And we're still communicating with our sellers one-to-one.
right, that's
So there
my,
is no
yeah,
break in service.
none at all.
The key is that we're always on it, all the time, every time.
Yeah,
So for a seller.
our technology makes
Yeah.
that so
Our technology
easy.
allows us to do
Our
it.
sellers have a deal room, right?
They can see everything that's
They
going
know
on.
exactly what date this is happening, what's going
Yeah.
on, what we need, what we don't have.
So imagine the 1.5% on the listing side, only if the property sells.
Right,
If for whatever reason, you are not able to go forward, the market changes.
Yeah.
Your situation changes. You might be able to say, Juan, I need to change my strategy. I need to take it off the market. I need to do something later. I didn't get that job I thought I was gonna get.
right, and that's okay.
Redfin has a 0 cancellation fee.
Yeah, yeah.
We do not hold people hostage. Our goal is to serve.
Right.
So-
We want them to be happy because you know what's going to happen when they are ready in a couple of
They'll call
years.
us
Maybe
back.
they're going to call you and say,
Call us
hey,
back. I've
yeah.
had people call me back 4 or 5 months later. I did get the other job. I didn't get
Yeah.
the job I thought I got.
But
I
now
got the
you-
second job. Can we go back on the market? What day do you want to go back on? Can we do next Thursday? Did you change anything with the house? No. I
Yeah.
already have pictures. I already have the 3D. I have
Yeah.
everything I need.
Let's do
I'll
it.
turn it on Thursday.
Yeah.
So we want to
awesome.
make it as efficient and easy as possible.
Right.
Now, we do have another product.
We do.
and
I'm
this-
excited about
is-
this one because it's new here.
This is a new product, it's called
Yeah.
a concierge product. So imagine in your mind, you have a seller who's in the middle of transition, and they need a little bit of help.
Right.
What kind of help do they need? Because they're in transition, financially, they're kind of stretched out a little bit.
Yeah.
So they just don't have the ability to spend 5 or 7,000 or even 10,000 to refresh that carpet.
Right.
Or change the air conditioner that is breaking every 3 months.
Yeah,
That
it's
they
gonna come
know
up
it's
on the
gonna come up on the
inspection.
And they want to solve it before they get to
Mm-hmm.
that point. So we have a vendor we're working with that will be able to roll that into a credit type of line of credit without pulling their credit.
Right. No.
So it doesn't ding them when
Yeah.
they're doing their search. So, I don't know all the back-end stuff of that product.
Right.
But I can tell you that if that was something you wanted to consider, we
Right.
put you in touch with the vendor, and they will walk you through those actual steps, and then you can make sure that is good for you in your transition.
And then that money just gets paid at closing. So if you
Just
don't
gets
have
paid
the
at
funds
closing.
available to fix what needs to be fixed, it's going to be taken care of at
At
closing.
closing.
But there's a little bit more to concierge marketing, right?
Marketing. There is a little bit of, well, not a little bit,
Extra.
there is enhanced marketing.
Yeah.
So in our traditional product, we have a very high level of marketing, a certain amount
do.
of drops on the web page, a certain amount of Facebook ads, social media ads. It's just a very nice basic bucket that cycles all the time. When you do concierge, you get an enhanced level of that.
Yeah.
You get more ads, you get more drops on the web page.
Right.
You will get a little bit more marketing as far as some cinematic stuff for the house. We can fly through the house.
Yeah.
Do some social media teasers because we want to showcase that online for marketing.
Yeah,
We
like
can do
pre-listing,
some
right?
YouTube videos.
Love it.
You know,
And they're professional. It's not like me walking
Yeah.
around with my camera, right?
can't
Like,
do-
I mean, I do those all the time, but
it's a different.
we're not doing,
It's different.
it's different. It's set to
It's
music, they're zooming in and out, it's cool.
It's set at a very high level.
Yeah,
And the key is for us is that if you are willing to invest in your product,
Mm-hmm.
we're also willing to invest as well to try to help push it.
Yeah.
We want to give you an extra push.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs that,
right, of course.
but it's an
And
option.
sometimes it's even that seller that does not live here, and we just need to
Yeah.
do more on our end. Maybe the home needs some work, and we kind of have to oversee the project a little
Maybe we
bit.
got to meet the painter there.
Yeah,
We got to let them in, make sure that they painted what they said they were going to paint.
Right.
Before you pay them. And then, you know, just things like that.
extra,
So
just
we can coordinate
extras that
around
we
that.
can do.
So-
But without extras, perfect house, seller lives in the house,
Nope.
doesn't really need any
1.5,
extras, 1.5.
Totally fine.
And then, how do they get a discount, whether it's the 1.5 or 2.5?
Mm-hmm.
How are they gonna get a half a percentage back?
Sell to buy.
Sell to buy, love
Sell to
it.
buy. So let's say you are working with Miss Nancy on a sale of a house, and you would like to work with Juan on a purchase of a house.
Right.
Because it's in the Redfin circle,
Mm-hmm.
we have sell to buy. So let's say you were doing the 1.5% product on the listing side. You sell in January 1, 2026. And let's say within 12 months.
26, you're scaring me.
Yeah, it's in the future. Because you're not ready yet.
I'm not ready.
But let's say 4 months later, you close on your new construction purchase with Juan. So what Redfin will do is when you close on your purchase, it will connect the sale with the buy or the buy with the sell. As
Doesn't
long as
matter
you
which
do
one happens first.
the 2 and 12 months.
Yeah,
And you will get a rebate of up to 0.5% on the listing side of the 1.5.
which is amazing.
It's just, it's basically, I tell people, it helps you move.
Yeah.
It could be a couple $1,000s to help you move.
And it doesn't even have to, like, we're both in Central Florida, but it doesn't have to be here. I can connect you. You want to move to Las Vegas? I'm going to call one of my Redfin agents there. I look them up first, make sure their reviews are good,
Yeah.
and make sure I'm really connecting them with the right person. And I'm going to make that introduction.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, there's even other incentives. You know, what happens if a buyer does not want to work with a real estate agent? We have an incentive for that on the buyer side.
Oh, yeah.
You know, let's say a buyer is an attorney, or maybe they're a former agent, or they kind of know the process, but
Right.
they don't have access.
So they're calling you up to put an offer in on your listing.
But they don't want representation. They
Right.
want me to give them the paperwork, they want me to meet them for the home inspection, for the appraisal, if the insurance
Right.
people need to come, whatever needs to come over. So they want me to be a coordinator for the buyer side, not really representing them on the buyer
Right,
side.
not a negotiator.
Yeah, not a negotiator. That's gonna be an incentive to the seller, because they're gonna pay me either 1.5 or 2.5, depending on the program they select.
Right.
And then on the buyer agent side, an unrepresented buyer is just a 1% for me to help
Right.
accommodate them.
Yeah,
Or what happens if, one, the buyer is yours?
yeah.
The buyer is your buyer who's been looking in that area, and they want to make an offer on the house.
Yeah,
So-
because now you have the listing.
I have the
You know
listing.
you have a buyer looking there, you're gonna call them, guess what, I'm listing a home this week.
Yeah, I've got this one coming up on Friday.
Yeah.
As soon as it launches, I'm gonna send it to you. I want you to look at it, see if it's a good fit. They say, well, we like it, we will make an offer. So in our listing agreement, it automatically acknowledges that on the buyer agent side, we will recover 1.5% to
Right,
match our listing side,
yeah.
our basic listing side of 1.5%.
And then you are now a transaction broker, which we are here in Florida anyway.
Facilitate the transaction.
Yeah, so you're just doing what's right for the transaction.
Yeah, so all those fees are on the listing side. And as we talked about before, on the buyer agent side, commissions have always been negotiable.
Right.
And now today, what they will do is they will send almost like a request for their commission.
Yeah.
A form that says, this is my buyer, and this is the commission I'm requesting from you, Mr. or
Right.
Ms. Seller.
And that's another thing we're
And
negotiating.
we negotiate that as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes in right in line with what's common
Yeah,
and what our expectation is. Sometimes it's a little bit out of line,
right.
and we recommend negotiating that
Yeah.
to line up a little bit. And that's the
Exactly.
seller's discretion, of
Yeah.
course. But that is pretty much that part.
And then you talk about also, I know I do too, and I think you taught me this, what the seller is gonna get in the end, that
Yes.
dollar amount.
Yes, we do a net sheet,
Yeah,
but that's at the end, once we discover what our box might be.
right,
And a
right,
lot of times, what I like to do is if my box is 480 to 500,
right.
I tell my sellers, let's do a net sheet for 480.
Yeah, I always do, worst case scenario.
Let's do the worst number, and let's just see how that shakes out.
Yeah,
And then from there, when we get an offer, we will always do a net sheet to reflect the actual offer we have in hand, if there's any question or anything like that.
Yeah.
We know if we get an offer at 482, that it's going to be very similar to the net sheet.
yeah, yeah.
The prorations don't
And
change
they're
very
pretty
much.
close, like
Yeah.
within a few $100s.
Yeah.
Things that changes, the prorations, the tax
Prorations
probation.
change a little bit, but
Yeah,
not-
based on the close date, but that's showing the purchase price, it's showing
Correct.
what the seller's responsible for as far as closing fees like title search, doc stamps, whatever those fees.
we do not want our sellers to have a surprise.
Right, so we're telling them, yes,
In
sellers,
Florida, this is what's going to happen.
yeah, sellers still have closing fees, because some sellers think that closing fees are just the buyer, but they both have,
They
they're
both
just
have.
different.
They're just different.
And then the seller, it's gonna show Redfin's 1.5%. It's going to show whatever they agree to pay that buyer's agent, whether it's 2%, 2.5%, 3%, whatever it is, that's gonna
The
be.
title company charges, the state of Florida charges.
Yeah.
The payoff of their mortgage.
Right,
We will put all that in there.
and then they have this number at the end, and that's
They know
gonna
what it
be,
is.
that's their wire the day of closing.
They know what it is. I've had
Yeah.
people show up with that email and reconcile that at closing with the numbers that we got.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's very close.
It's very close. Sometimes
very,
it's a few
very
hundred
close.
off based
Just depends
on-
on some little things.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's an HOA there, sometimes there's not an HOA.
Yeah.
So some of the numbers change, a little bit.
little bit, but it's
Um,
pretty accurate, so they know what
yeah.
they're getting.
So picture in your mind, this takes about 15 minutes in a presentation.
Yeah.
As we share this with the seller.
Meanwhile, it took us like an
Yeah,
hour. No, we can
go-
talk.
We go through it a lot of detail, but
Yeah.
with the seller, it's very specific to their
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
And then after this part, what I typically do is I go into all of the smart chart.
Yeah, I love the smart chart.
So I'm gonna click over to the smart chart real quick. And I love the smart chart as well. So typically what the smart chart is we change our hat from the real estate agent to becoming almost like the valuator or
Yeah.
the appraiser.
Right,
We're trying to determine how many homes go for sale, how many homes don't sell, how long does it take to sell, when they list at a certain price, what price do they really sell for in that area?
right,
Now
and that's
this-
by zip code.
This is by zip code.
You have 32828.
32828, so that's my zip code that I live in.
Okay, let's see how your
So-
neighborhood's
So
doing.
we'll see how it's doing there. So the key is we're looking at a zip code first to see the health of the zip code.
Right,
And then the comparables teach us what is the health of the competition that actually did or did not perform.
right, right.
So it's like a shotgun and a sniper. It's kind
Yeah.
of zooming out and then zooming in.
So this is
type
gonna
of-
be the whole zip code, and it's gonna incorporate all different types of homes, single families,
Single family,
townhouses, condos.
Those three groups, that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. So the first thing is the data is gonna be staggered by about 30 to 45 days, of course, because we
Right.
gotta accumulate the data, right?
Yeah.
So the first category is new listings. How many properties go for sale? So the 5-year average in 32828 is 53 homes per month going for sale. As of January, 49 are now going for sale.
Right.
So pretty stable, pretty neutral, kind of normal, right? New pendings, properties going under contract, working to close. The 5-year average was 64 pending per month. Today, there's 45 pending per month.
So less homes are going under contract.
That is sensitivity to price for
Yeah.
whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
Closed sales, 5-year average was 64 pending, 45 closed today, which means about 20 would fail on a monthly basis.
Right, right.
Home inspection, appraisal, loan commitment, whatever it was.
Whatever, change their mind.
Today, 45 pending, 30 closed. So even though there's less pending, a little bit more close. So why is that? People are very sincere when they go under contract right now.
Right.
They're trying to close very hard.
But the 5-year average was 45 for closed, and we're only closing 30 now.
Yeah, but 64 were pending.
Oh, okay,
And
right.
45 closed,
Got
so
you.
there was about 20 that would fail.
Yeah,
Today, 45
Now
pending,
only 15 are
Yeah,
failing.
so there's
Got
less
you.
failure.
Right.
And that is because today...
see, I learn every day.
Yeah, so today, people who are going under contract, they have probably, in all honesty, talked to their lender 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Before they even made the offer.
Yeah,
What are my numbers? And then 3 days later, run the numbers again. They're trying to figure out what their rate lock is, what
Yeah.
the insurance might be. They're trying to really identify the numbers.
because they have
because-
that beginning period, that
Yeah.
inspection contingency, do all
Yeah.
their due diligence.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get it all done.
Yeah. So we don't worry about the middle because that is median price and the appraiser uses comparables.
Right.
So we're going to emulate the appraiser.
Yeah.
So we go to the bottom. The bottom is the most important for me.
I love this
And the
part.
bottom is 3 categories, active listings. These are the ones that go for sale and they're on the market for 30 days and they don't sell and they roll to the next month.
Right.
These are the rollers. So the 5-year average was 62 rollers. Today, there's 116 rollers. So what does that tell you? It's price or condition.
Price or condition.
Homes are rolling more
Yeah.
because they're either too high of a price or their price does not support the condition.
Right.
That's a strategy problem.
Yeah,
So-
100%.
Average days on market. Juan, what does it take if I price correctly
Yeah,
to sell my house? How long does it take? It used to take for 5 years an average of 33 days,
which is great.
which is pretty good,
Yeah.
right? Today, average days on market is 56 days.
Right.
It's almost double. Why is that? The third category teaches us why.
Yeah,
Sale to list price. The 5-year average was if you listed at 500,000, you were selling at 97 to 98% of list price.
right.
What is the healthy metric? It is 97 to 98% of list price. So a $500,000 house would sell for around 485, 490 on average.
On
And that
average.
was healthy and normal.
Yeah,
Today, they're selling for 95% of list price. So imagine this, if that house sells for 95% of list price, that same house is now, if it was 500,000 at the current price, it's selling for 480, not 485 to 490, right?
Right, yeah.
But probably around day 30 to 40, they did a price reduction because
Yeah.
they were not getting activity.
Right.
So they probably were not priced
correctly.
well, if it was worth 485, 490, they probably were not priced at 500. They probably were priced around 520.
Right,
Let me go a little bit higher and see 520, 525.
yeah, let me
It-
test the
The
waters.
strategy did not work.
Yeah,
They corrected around day 30 to 40. They reduced the price. If they went from 520, what number did they probably go to? We know as agents, probably 510.
510, yeah,
Still a little bit too high. But somebody decided to make an offer and it probably came in at 470. They had a heart attack, countered back, and when it finally ended, it probably ended around 480. So that's why it's selling at 94.9% of list price.
right,
If they would have priced correctly, instead of being at 520, if they would have priced at 499,900, probably what would have happened is they would have sold at 97 to 98% of list
They would have
price,
got
which is
more
healthy.
money.
And
Yeah.
they probably would have shaved off about 2 to 3 or maybe even
Yeah.
4 weeks from the marketing time.
because there's also the cost of keeping the home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you still have those taxes, that mortgage, that whatever, if you can sell it quicker,
Yeah.
yeah. And
And I think-
sometimes just pricing it right is going to net you more money in the end.
Yeah.
And then I like what you said, because if we priced it at $499,900, we're opening that up to a bigger pool of buyers
Yeah.
too.
Somebody
People
approved-
search up to 500.
Some portals will, when you put in 500, some portals will not have the $500,000 listing. It'll have to be 499,999.
Yeah.
So just be cognizant of that.
Yeah, when you're
And just-
pricing.
and when you price
Because if
it-
I priced it at 506, I'm missing everybody.
You're
that was
missing
looking-
everybody from 450 to 500. Now,
Yeah.
some people will be approved for 475.
Right.
And they will search 550 because they think they can negotiate 50 to 75,000.
Yeah, probably not the case.
I've never been that way. I'm realistic.
Yeah.
So if I was approved for 450 to 500, I would be searching 450 to 500. So I need that house to
Yeah,
show up.
sometimes I go a little bit higher in the search when I'm representing buyers, like to that, it goes in 25,000 increments.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 525, because some other agents don't understand that, and it might be just $5,000 more and we're missing it. It might be 505.
And you might be able to negotiate that because it's been
Yeah.
on the market.
I'm not talking negotiating
Yeah.
50,000, but I'm talking we might miss that perfect home for a few grand.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. So the smart chart is valuable because of what it does as far as interpreting what the zip code does. And then our CMA
Well,
will be able to show based on at least 3 solds and probably 3 or 4 actives, probably 2 or 3 pendings.
Right.
What we're trying to show is what is out there available for customers to see. This is the competition. Very often, the listings are high.
yeah,
So sellers are like, wow, they're at 570, that's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. And that's the same house that's worth 480. So sellers know it's too high.
yeah.
But we're looking at the pendings to see how do the pendings fall in this chart.
Right, why did they go pending? Were they priced correctly, that they got an offer? and
How many
then
days was
acted?
it?
Right, how many days till they got that offer?
Yeah, we don't know the price that they're pending at till it closes.
Right,
But we do know that they captured the buyer. And we do know that if it was healthy, it was 97 to 98%.
Right.
So we can interpret.
so
what
we
it
know sold
probably
price,
is.
we know, so we can compare to sold properties,
Mm-hmm.
right, which is what we have to with pricing. But then pending, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we know their active price for those active homes. So if they're on the market for a really long time, something
Yeah.
isn't right. Those sellers are testing it already.
Yeah.
So we know what didn't work.
They market tested for us.
Yeah, so we know that's
It
not
didn't work.
working. Yeah,
It didn't work. If they're on the market for more than 2 months, it's not working.
it's not working. So whatever they're doing is,
The strategy needs to be changed.
Yeah.
So we want to have the correct strategy
right,
for the benefit of the seller. That's all it is.
yeah.
So
I
this
love
is,
it.
This is really important for us. Then we go into the CMA. What is the CMA going to teach you? It's going to teach you what our statistics are.
Mm-hmm.
How many homes have we sold? What is our personal sale to list price?
Right.
And what is our average days on market?
Yeah.
And those 2 last categories are from the MLS, tracked over a 12-month period.
Right.
Which is like this is going to
Yeah.
be tracking. So that's very important because I tell my sellers, you want to have an agent that performs
Right,
at the market metric.
Yeah.
If they sell
At or
at
better.
95, yeah, if they sell 95% of list price and that market runs 97, you are listing your house with an underachiever
right,
for whatever reason. So you should be with someone that can perform at or above the market area.
right.
That's all it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have the comparables. We will itemize all those. We will interpret all those. We'll give our recommendation.
Right,
We will do the net sheet based on the recommendation. We'll reconcile everything together, put it in the folder, leave it for you, and then we will step away and give you time to see what you think is best for
Right.
you. And we are very kind to our sellers. Does not mean that we're not aggressive
right,
to other
right.
parties. We're
Yeah.
not mean
No.
or anything like that, but this is a professional transaction.
Yeah,
The goal is very simple. Sell the seller's house for the highest price in the shortest amount of time to the most qualified buyer.
right,
That's all we're trying to do.
yeah,
And I tell people, if you want to sell, that's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
I am not here to get buyers off of your house. I'm not doing any of that. I'm trying to sell your house.
right.
So it's a very different mindset.
Yeah.
But That's how we
You're
do it.
representing the seller, so
That's
you're
all.
doing the best that you can for
Our
your
job.
seller, and that's your responsibility, and that's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, I think you're amazing at it.
Thank you. Thank
So if you don't love your realtor, call one.
Call either one of us, to be honest. But that's just how we do it. If you have a question on this, or if you need this done for your house, call us.
Call us. Drop it in the comments.
We do it all day long.
Yeah.
We will share it with you, and by the time we're done, you'll be able to do it as well.
Right, and they may call us and say, hey, what's going on in my zip code? We can check.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
zip code might be, I don't know,
It could be better.
33896, and it could be
It
worse.
could be better, it could be worse.
Yeah.
But the key is, the data does not lie.
Right,
So our goal is to interpret what will happen, why it will happen, how long it might take, and to build a strategy to get you success.
and to see where the curve is, right, where the market's going. That was one piece that I took away from one of our meetings a long time ago.
The bell curve.
The bell curve, but not only, remember the analogy was football. So the quarterback is not throwing the ball to where the receiver is,
Where they're going.
where the receiver's going.
Where they're
So we
going.
have to kind of forecast, like, what are we seeing,
Yeah.
right, by the bell curve, but
If
the football analogy was easier for me.
If the market used to be here, and this is 2022,
Yeah,
and this is 2025,
where are we seeing it in a few months?
where's it gonna be whenever you put your house for sale?
Right.
Is it gonna be here, here, or here?
Yeah,
The data's telling us it's probably gonna be around here.
yeah,
So we wanna be where that offer will probably get thrown
Right.
at.
yeah,
And if we're priced correctly, we do not have to negotiate a lot.
right, just price it right.
Because we
Less
will
stress.
have more people interacting with us.
Right,
I mean, I just did a $1.2 million house in 24 hours.
amazing,
Listing in 24 hours, we priced correctly, beautiful house.
yeah,
The former buyer, the buyer for our house was gonna purchase another house that the inspection did not go well.
Right.
They did not feel comfortable. They canceled, and lo and behold, mine goes on the market, and they offered us full price in one day. We had
Right.
4 showings the first day. We had one offer, but it was full price. You only need one.
right, one
Only
acceptable
need
offer,
one.
right, yeah,
So, you know, the buyer pool for $1 million in Central is a
small.
little bit tight.
yeah,
So, you know, you have to know the numbers, you gotta interpret them,
right,
and my seller got the home prepared exactly the way we would want. It was already that way, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah, some sellers are just amazing.
Yeah, some sellers, most of our sellers are quite good.
Yeah, they're like baking cookies before showings, I love it,
But that's what we do.
yeah,
That's what we do all day, every day. So please do not hesitate if you have a question about any
just
of
curious,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love when my sellers interview a bunch of agents. It's great. How you go into a listing and you see different folders from different brokerages. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
They're doing their due diligence. They want to pick the right person, relationship wise. Are we gonna click together?
I tell sellers, pick who you feel most comfortable with,
Yeah.
but make sure that they can support and defend the price.
Right. Right.
If they can't support and defend the price,
Yeah.
you know,
How are they going to defend it to
are they
the
just-
buyer's agent? And how are they going to defend it
to the appraiser.
appraiser? Yeah.
They can't.
Yeah.
They can't. Don't let an agent list at your price just to make you feel good.
Right.
You have to list at what the market's teaching
Yeah.
you.
Don't let them buy
You
the
want to be
listing.
successful.
Yeah.
Don't let them buy the listing. They will beat you up for 4 months, and then you'll be behind the market, and people will think, what's wrong with that house? And there's
Right.
nothing wrong.
And now you're selling it even less.
And now you're selling it for less because your buyer pool is shrunk. And we have secrets on how we restart the buyer pool,
Yeah.
but we can't disclose those.
Yeah, no, we can't let our secrets
There's some
out.
things we can't say.
Yeah.
But there are ways that we re-penetrate the buyer pool every week.
Every week before the
I
weekend.
do it every week, and I get back to the top of the search
Yeah,
for buyers looking for my products. But some things we can't share.
right. We'll keep that a
But
secret.
that's it for today. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us.
This might be a two-parter, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
How long
talk
is
a little
this?
bit too much. I get a little fired up on these things.
So it'll be released on Thursday, every Thursday at 10 a.m.
Every Thursday at 10 a.m. Please, if you have any topics you'd like us to cover that we might be able to share about, we would love to get
Yeah.
those. So
And-
message us,
Yeah.
post it in the comments, Whatever is the easiest way.
Subscribe, like, share, do all the
Please.
things.
Please.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.